more time, fool.
Hey, if you like what you see, subscribe, like, and share.
In the DMV and we work. The podcast cool, but they not like us. Talking real DC, so what's up? Hey.
What's going on, good people? And welcome to Foote's Tuesday. Foote's Tuesday is a podcast that I created once I realized that the fellas was coming over every Tuesday to partake in some adult libations as we get lit. We talk shit about basketball. Yo, and occasionally we have a guest. But not just any guest. We're talking about DC's royalty, the DMV's finest basketball coaches, as well as its up-and-coming stars. But before I tell you about the star that's here on the south side of Washington, D.C., that's sitting in the big chair, let me salute All Stars Investments. Kobe Sullivan has been hosting basketball tournaments and giving back to the community since 2019. And now, from Wheaton High School, Ricky Goins! Oh man, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I like to tell a story before we get into the pod. Okay, so so I'm with All Stars Investments.
Right.
We're planning this tournament that you are hosting. The team that we're supposed to play didn't show up, so we're playing like this pickup for the most part. And somehow or another, you're out there, and I'm guarding you.
I remember that. I'm a guard.
Oh no, yeah, okay. So I'm guarding you, and I'm talking shit to you, and you looking past me. It's almost like I'm not talking at all. You disrespectful on the basketball court, huh?
Oh man, I mean I've heard that before, but you know I got one job for the ball in the basket.
On me though.
Yeah, man. I think I shot the ball a little bit that game.
Yeah, you did. Look, I don't think you scored.
I did. I remember he was out there with D-Pain and them. I remember.
Absolutely, man. It's such a pleasure to have you out here. What I want to know though, is there a story from you going from Coolidge to Wheaton?
Yeah, man. It was my 11th grade year. I led Coolidge in scoring.
Come on, man. Come on, talk your shit.
Thought I was on my way, man. And me and my coach didn't really get along.
Okay.
I remember. So it was the first dance we do the inter squad scrimmage in front of the whole school. So I had 40 points in that. That night we played Blair in the scrimmage and I had 35. And my coach calls me and my dad. This is a true story. My coach calls me and my dad and said, "Listen, I think he was drunk." And he said, "You'll never shoot the ball like that again." So I had some good games. I mean, I started seeing off like 3 straight 20-point games. They didn't want to play me, and I got back out there, and it just was like, it just I feel like at that point it just wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like, so then really, and I was telling somebody this story the other day, was what really got me out was, so we played Cardoza, who won the city title that year. I had a pretty good game, and the reporter came up to me and was asking me some questions, so it was a school reporter. Mm-hmm. Now, back then, it took a while to get the paper out. He wouldn't come out in March. So this is like January. The paper came out in March. Right. And I remember the paper coming out. So I walk into school in March. My all teachers, and I'm a 4.0 student. Okay. So my teachers looking at me like, "Why would you say that? Why would you?" And I'm like, talking about. Paper come out and it says, I had a quote in there saying, "My coach is not a good coach and he should lose his job." So at that point, I told my father, I said, "This ain't gonna work," because he already had issues with me. Yeah. So from there, I was actually supposed to go to High Point because the old coach at Coolidge, his name was Willie Saunders. He was well known in DC. Mm-hmm. He had taken a liking to me because the game him and his brother came to, I had like 29 on him in Washington. So he was like, "Look, if you can connect us somehow to get back in here, it'll be a good opportunity. It'd be a good opportunity for you." Yeah. So we realized that wasn't going to happen. He took me over to High Point where the Rock Summer League was to meet Reggie Williams, who was from Georgetown, was coaching at the time.
Absolutely.
But what happened was at that time, Wheaton was playing, and the summer league coach played college ball with my dad, and so that was, and his son, the head coach, was Steve Hood, who played in Maryland, played in the league. So I was like, my mom didn't want me at High Point or him in Washington, because I played summer league with him in Washington. So I was playing with Wheaton and him in Washington in the summer.
Got you.
So my mom rather me go to Wheaton.
Yeah.
And they needed somebody like, another player that could score the ball like me. So they brought me in.
Who they bring in? Who they bring in?
Oh, they brought me in.
Okay.
So we had a good year, man. We had the best year in school history. I ended up getting hurt. One of the best years in school history. I ended up getting hurt early in the season, like in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up being the sixth man most of the year. But we went 18-6, most wins in school history. We lost in the regional championship. I had 22 in the Christmas tournament. If you go back to Wheaton's, one of the only trophies you'll see. So I always go back and show my son that.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. But at that point, I was kind of over basketball.
Really?
Playing. That's when I started saying,
What age was this though?
I was like 18.
And you were over basketball?
I just went through so much stuff, man. Like, from Eleanor Roosevelt to Coolidge to Wheaton. I was like, you know what? If I have a lane in basketball, it's not on the court.
Wow.
That's how I just realized that at that point.
Well, it makes sense though. It makes sense because I'm trying to tell you, I did an extensive search, man. I'm trying to find the stats and all this other stuff. It was difficult to find.
Back then it was. I had one article in the paper when we played Blake.
Okay.
So Blake had 5 Division I players. They Juan Dixon brother. They had kid. But it was like they were like top 8 in the state that
You
year.
can name them. We want to hear them names.
I think they had Dominique Scott, who coaches at Mount Zion. They had I forgot his name. And it was like 5 Division players, and we So I had like 20 points, 17 points in that game. And I was in paper for that. And then when we lost in the regional championship, I had scored like 7 straight or something at the end, and I was in paper for that. But yeah, man, my coach wasn't thorough about pushing us into the papers and stuff. You know what I mean? So that's all that stuff that kind of made me say, like, if I got a lane in basketball, it's not on the court.
Wow.
And that's cool. I'm okay with that.
That's dope. So you go from literally the inner high.
PG County 4A. I was at Roosevelt first.
Okay.
Then Coolidge.
Okay.
Then we.
Yeah. But even in PG County, that's we know that there's certain teams in PG County that really do it. We know that there are teams, of course, in the inner high in DC that really do it.
Yeah.
So Mo County.
Yeah. Roosevelt. Well, when I was in middle school, I had a pretty good middle school career. Kenmore.
Okay.
And the reason I left Roosevelt, and it was fair, so Roosevelt won the state title my freshman year. I was on JV. They lost the year before with Delonte West and them.
Right.
So then the following year they won it. But the coach that recruited me to Roosevelt chose not to coach JV that year.
Right.
So the guy that brought in played his players. I ain't mad at that. You know what I mean? It was the business. So my father said, just we're gonna send you somewhere else. And the crazy part was, Coolidge was the only school that wasn't talking to me during that summer. Cause I was playing in all the adult leagues with Simeon. I remember Simeon.
Yeah.
So I was playing with Simeon. Had me playing with everybody. So I had him in Washington with Rob Nickens and Mitch Cradle and Dunbar was Eastern, like all them, cause Yarborough was my coming back. So all these guys was talking to me. But my father played the Coolidge, so I wanted to go there. So I went there kind of blindly. Yeah. And I ended up making the varsity 10th grade year.
But let's talk about that though. Talk about that influence of your dad.
Oh, my father was a ball player, man. Y'all, my dad. He played at UDC. He played at Coolidge. They call him Blind. He played on Bury Farms. The best shooter I ever seen.
Woo.
So you can see the video I posted today. We had a hoop session with Bill Bellamy this weekend. He was 65 out there killing. Still shooting. So that's what he do. He taught me how to play. And the most important thing, he taught me how to network. How to get to know people. So so it was cool, man. It was a good experience at Roosevelt. Glenn Ferrello was the head coach. Who's in the Part of 6 now.
I want to know about Montgomery County.
Oh.
I want to know, because we don't talk about that. When you say DMV, you'll hear PG County before you hear about Montgomery County.
So it's a couple things with Montgomery County. There's a lot of players there, but they don't stay in the county. They normally go play in, private school.
Okay.
But what really hurt Montgomery County in terms of like why you don't hear about the schools is because there's a list of schools that Montgomery County schools can play.
Right.
Like you can't just go schedule a game against Theodore Roosevelt or DeMatha.
Right.
There's a list of schools you can play, and unless you're in a Christmas tournament, you're not going to really play outside the county. So you know what I mean. So you don't really get that out of, unless you make states or Christmas tournament. You know what I mean. So because of that, you're isolated.
Wow.
You know, and in Montgomery County, sports is not. I would say football a little bit, but basketball is not a big deal in the county. And if you think about it, though, it's kind of crazy because Springbrook had won like 4 straight titles at one stretch, or like 4 state titles in 5 years or something. But it's never been.
But they never competed against
any.
That was early on. I'm talking about like even like from 2009 to like 13, they won like 3 or 4 state titles. Yeah. But the schools don't push, basketball or athletics as much as they probably should.
Right.
So, but it's ball players out there. I mean, the kid that just got drafted to New Orleans, Jordan Hawkins. He was at Gaithersburg High School before DeMatha. The kid Miller that won a championship with the Raptors, he went to Gaithersburg High School. Amani Hansberry, who just signed with Illinois, he's from Rockville. The kid that had the 30 points on Duke for Tennessee in the tournament last year went to Richard Montgomery. Right. There's players out there. It's just that a lot of them don't claim. Once they get out there, they don't claim the county.
People
say, so PG County takes pride in being from PG County, right?
Sure.
And I've seen that been in the Water movie, but like Montgomery County don't always have the same pride because it's like sometimes it's like they send this to rich kids, But you think about Steve Francis and those guys, and Jason Muscuri and those guys. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Walt Williams from PG.
See Russell,
See, that's my man.
Yeah, he come from Virginia. When I interviewed him, he made sure that we understood that he was from VA. Isn't that how he did it?
He's a legend out there.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing about C was C came here.
Okay.
And dominated guys. It's hard to come from out of town
True.
and get your respect here, and C got his respect here.
Yeah.
He's in the Hall of Fame at his school.
Absolutely.
So, C was different, man. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. That's cool. They say you're a basketball you're a basketball historian, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to focus on DC. If you were to give me the 5 top teams in the area, in the DMV, what would those 5 teams be? So like I think 5 top. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase the question. The high school that produced the most ballers, the best
private or
ballers,
public.
it doesn't make a difference. And the reason I say that because when I think about elite basketball players, I think about Spingarn, I think about Dunbar.
So I would say you got to start with the math, of course. I mean, because they got, it's the math.
The math is just the math.
Then you look at if you go public, Dunbar historically now, you got to kind of think it's been 20 years since they really had a pro.
Dunbar over Spingarn.
Dunbar, Spingarn. I mean, Spingarn had a lot of guys too, but Dunbar probably had more NBA guys. They had a lot of guys get drafted. I mean, they had multiple first-round picks out of Dunbar. Spingarn. Well, they had 2 of the best top 75, but Spingarn had Dave being in eligibility. They better than that.
Absolutely.
But Dunbar had a lot of NBA guys, a lot of McDonald's All-Americans. So if you look at the longevity, I mean, you're talking about in '99 they had 2 NBA players on their roster. Can't too many public schools even say that recent, But I mean, Dunbar, Spingarn right there. Let's see more. That's a tough one when it comes to you think about pros. Historically, Crossland had guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Walt and Moose and them.
PG County.
Roosevelt has had 3 NBA guys in the last 20 years.
What about Bowie?
So this is the thing with Bowie. But this is what people don't realize about Bowie, right? And this is a true story about Bowie. If it wasn't for the science and tech program at Eleanor Roosevelt, Bowie would be Eleanor Roosevelt.
Wow.
A lot of kids that ended up at Roosevelt lived in Bowie. So Bowie kind of fed off. I mean, Roosevelt kind of sucked a lot of. Because now you think about Roosevelt, you get a lot of homegrown talent. Because I lived in Spring Hill Lake for 9 years. That's where I really learned. Like where I became a basketball player. So You talking about from Najee Marshall, who's with the Pelicans now, to Donnell Dotson, who I grew up with, who played with the Kentucky, and like they had. You talking about Delonte West, Eddie Batson, like Roosevelt had, and on the football field, it's totally different. So they had some pros, but like, yeah, huh?
I remember that.
That's my best friends I grew up with. You know what I mean? So like, they had Alpha Van Gogh, Delonte Holland, like Roosevelt had. And these were just kids. It was kind of those kids just walk around the school. Yeah. But then you had, because of science and tech, they could go recruit. So Roosevelt, you got to put up there. Springbrook has had a lot of guys over the years.
But not Bowie,
right? Bowie, but I just think Bowie and H.D. Wilson are similar.
Okay.
Like a lot of talented guys live near H.D. Wilson. Right? Like Kurt Smith and Charles Smith home school was H.D. Wilson.
Right.
But one went to McNamara, one went to Mackin and Coolidge, one went to St. Anthony's. They didn't go to H.D. So H.D. had, if you had to go to the school in your boundaries, Bowie and H.D. Wilson would look a lot different than people look at them now. Kids just didn't go there to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nuggets. It's all about them nuggets, man. Listen, I appreciate you coming in here with them jewels, but we got to talk about this. We got to talk about Maryland. You wound up going to Maryland?
University of Maryland?
Yeah.
Nah, so people think that.
Oh.
Now, I have done, like, so I graduated from Montgomery College.
Okay.
But I'm finishing up a degree at Maryland. But I have a great relationship with the University of Maryland.
Apparently, because you put that
The suburbs, was it the suburbs?
I grew up, to start from the beginning, Nate Peake, who was Steve Francis' agent.
Okay.
Who was one of the first major black agents in the business before Rich Paul. He pulled off the Steve Francis trade. It was the largest trade in history at that time. He had Stevie, Lonnie Baxter, Juan Dixon. He was managing at the time Baron Davis and Elton Brand. So that's my cousin. So I was around them at a very young age. So Juan Dixon and all them, like I knew them when I was young. Okay. But I ended up reconnecting. Me and Lonnie always stayed tight. Me and Steve always stayed tight. I ended up reconnecting with Juan years later. But those are my friends, guys. So I was up in a Maryland fan. So then I got into the business of transferring kids around the country. Right. So at one point, 2016, I was handling the recruiting for the #1 transfer in the country, #5 transfer in the country. Wow. So everybody had to come see me. So that's just what it was.
Right. No. So, talk your shit. Yeah.
So then when they started hiring coaches I knew. So then the NIL thing came around, and that's when I really solidified my relationship with them. Was they needed some help setting up their collective, which is that's the money that's paid to the players now through NIL. So I helped them. I built a good relationship with their #1 donor or orchestrator. Right. So me and him got really close. So I helped them with getting some complicated deals done sometime, helping the players understand, how much money they're supposed to make. I worked with Jameer Young, who's the best player last year, with Donald Carey. I'm working with John Lamoth right now, who's on their team, and a couple other players. And I just kind of been a resource, you know what I mean? So then, when I need the connection to do the ABL game between Georgetown and Maryland, I was able to get the gem at Maryland.
Absolutely.
So I'm just a supporter of the program, but the players and however I can support them. But I do it for other people. People think it's just Maryland, like. I sent, people forget, I sent Rodney Pryor to Georgetown, who later Biggies and Swarm. Okay. I've given 3 of their players, I've given a couple of their players NIL deals this year. Wow. So, I've supported the projects too. Right.
But right now, you're focused on the DMV, right?
I do stuff all over the country. Okay. I mean, I help guys, because NIL can be a complicated thing. Yeah. So if anybody, I have a recently had a conversation with Ross Strickland about it. He's a good friend of mine. A couple guys down south.
He casually pulling out these names, but
nah, it's all their college basketball coaches. So when coaches call me and ask me for advice or how to go about NIL, how I look at it, and I have an NIL company where I sign kids to merchandise deals. Yeah. So they'll call me and ask me, how things work. Yeah. And I just give them answers, and I always got to shout out Bruce Shingler for that, who coached at Maryland, because he's the one that got me involved in NIL. He called me one day, he said, I think you'd be good at it. He said, just look into it. Nice. I always shout him out for that, because I would never thought about it.
Yeah. we can talk about your on the court presence. We can talk about your off the court presence. But I think it's also important to talk about your behind the camera presence. No, that's a real thing. You know what I'm talking about? Look, you got former basketball players, and I'm not about to put myself in a position of you or, you know, Charlie Moe or anybody like that. Yeah, God bless the dead. I'm not about to put myself in a position like that because I played at PG. But at the same time, Red Cup gave us the idea that we can do something different. You know, if we can't hoop no more, is our careers over with? You know, or can we do anything else? Even Uncle School, you know what I'm talking about? You see how he,
he's been in the gym with us.
Yeah, you see what he's doing on YouTube and how he has his followers and stuff like that. I mean, that had to come from somewhere. Somebody had to be a visionary. Somebody had to pull a camera out and start recording and then produce it, man. I mean, that Red Cup, real live. You, Kurt Smith, again. I worked with Charlie Moe because Charlie Moe worked on the Hill, and I still presently work there. You know, y'all set a precedent, man. So personally, I want to say thank you, bro.
I appreciate that, man. You know, Red Cup started out so like me, Kurt, and James Bryson was at Smitty House, Charles Smith House.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember why we was there. And we was just sitting around talking, and Kurt was like, well, let's go in the basement and go live.
Mm-hmm.
So we went live, and like 100 people jumped in the live. And we was like, let's do it every Saturday. And we did it every Saturday for essentially 2 years. Yeah. I don't think we missed a Saturday.
Wow.
Wow. Maybe sometimes. It's about over 100 episodes. And it was all organic. It wasn't much prep. We used a cell phone.
Yeah.
Didn't have any ring light or anything. The whole idea was that we were just going to let people tell their story. Yeah. And it just became so much. So I came up with the name The Red Cup Hour. That was me that came up with that. Mm-hmm. But people wanted it because people knew Kurt as a ball player. They didn't know him as a, you know. It was a great time, man. And then I met Charlie Moe kind of through the show.
Okay.
And Bryson and them, and then Brian Chase was with us.
Absolutely.
And it was just a commitment to doing it every week. And that's what I tell people with like that try to want to start podcasts is it's all about discipline. Like you got to do it when you don't feel like doing it. You know, I didn't want to be there every Saturday night, but you know, I did it because it helped us do a lot of things. You know, a lot of stuff I'm able to do right now is because people remember me from the Red Cup. I'm actually going to start I have a podcast now, but we're redoing it. The network's about to pick it up. Me and Kareem Rush from the Lakers are doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Resetting it. Yeah. So I'm flying out Kansas City to meet with him to kind of lay everything out on Thursday. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, it was organic, man. A lot of people feel like we kind of started the whole podcast thing.
Absolutely. I love that.
It's always good to go, but that's why what I did before is over. I uploaded every episode. Yeah. Every single episode is on YouTube. Yeah. Every single one. From Victor Page to Grant Hill, Dennis Scott, and everybody want to be a part, man. I always tell Kurt, like, if we would have just started doing the thing where you bring people on screen, because I think Facebook had just started out when we was ending. Yeah. Oh man, we had so many people that wanted to come on. They just didn't want to necessarily come to the basement. Yeah. But no, it was good, man. You know, Kurt he's a personality, man. He's a funny dude, but you see how much people respect him no matter what on that court, no matter what level they played at. Mm-hmm. You know, you hear Grant Hill say, "I got my ball handling from him." You know, that's stuff that people don't. You know, you don't hear that that much. You know, so.
But that's something that I've heard on a regular basis as it pertains to specifically point guards from DC. Mm-hmm. You know, can you talk about that for a minute about the ball handling? Pause.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but so to kind of start that point off, and I talked about this because when I did the movie In the Water, this kind of came up because people didn't realize black basketball kind of started in DC, not New York.
Oh my, we on the same page.
So they just did a UDC, the dedication to EB, I think his last name right now, but he was the one that brought black, huh?
Rucker.
Not Rucker. No, man, It
dude
was
local here.
local here. So he learned basketball under James Naismith.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought basketball to the YMCA here in DC. Duke Ellington and Charles Drew played basketball for him. So DC was the first area where basketball really took off in the black community. Why New York gets credit for it is it's documented in New York. There's not much footage of DC basketball.
Were the pros playing out here?
Dr. J was playing here at the same time he's playing at Rucker.
Right.
Okay.
The Rucker has it on video. We don't.
Yeah,
Will Chamberlain them used to come and play at Watts.
Yeah.
Like this stuff really happened. Connie Hawkins and them, but it's no film of it. So there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't really go into that because I'm trouble talking about it. You know, there were people in their egos that didn't want to record it, and it didn't get recorded. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh wow, that don't
Makes
sense. Can you imagine that?
What's LeBron doing when somebody dunked on him?
But it wasn't even more so about that. It was just somebody just didn't want to record it.
Right.
Now I think there's film that's lost. I think. But
Okay.
Will we ever see it? I don't know.
You down.
So DC beat New York.
I mean, we had the Herbo. The Herbo was everything going on at Rutgers was Herbo. It's just no video. It's just no video. I mean, you got to remember the Wizards Summer League was Herbo. If you were a draft pick of the Wizards, you played in the Herbo, or even the pros played in the Herbo. That was their summer league. The Wizards funded the Herbo for years. I was talking with. So I'm really good friends with Ryan Blake. He's the head of scouting for the NBA.
Okay.
So his dad started like the way in the NBA scouts. His dad started it.
Mm-hmm.
His dad used to come to the Herbo. You know what I mean? So like DC has influenced the game of basketball at every single level.
Absolutely.
Every
Single level.
That's what I'm doing.
Every single level. Dang. That's what's up. So we're gonna do a DC rapid fire. Your favorite Mystic?
My favorite Mystic, Nikki McCrae.
Oh, for sure. Oh, people forget about Nikki.
Rest in peace. She's my favorite. My first favorite female basketball player.
Facts. Your favorite wizard?
Oh, Ross Strickland. That ain't close.
That easy, huh?
Yeah.
Not even close.
Right. Who was the person? And I think you mentioned it. The person that influenced you most in
Oh,
basketball.
my father. Man, that's easy.
Yeah.
He's
What's his name again?
Ricky Gomes.
Oh.
They call him Big Rick though. You know,
Okay.
Yeah, you know that. My best friend Brian Butler, he ran the rec center at Spring Lake. And I was young. We became best friends as we grew up. But you know, he allowed me to have access to all the things I've been able to do in the game. You know what I mean? So those two probably the most influence on me.
Wow. Those two at least. Yeah, I appreciate that. Your favorite go-go band?
Backyard probably.
Oh, good God. Backyard for life?
Probably Backyard.
Yeah.
I mean, I like some older bands too, but like Backyard, you know, they timeless.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah, you agree with that, young fella.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Is this your mentor right here?
This is, I'm not going to say a mentor, but this guy really opened my eyes to a whole, the Little Mermaid say, a whole new world in a sense.
Whoa. A Little Mermaid quote. Okay.
I mean, shit.
Okay.
Shit, Rick put me in the positions that, I mean, shit, we just played at a basketball game for stores, and I came in, and I don't know if he's gonna be honest, but I came in cooking.
Yeah, he cooked us.
He cooked us.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next couple days, my store manager say, "Yo, you remember that guy that was playing? He wants your number. He wants you to hoop." So I'm like, "Yeah, you know, like give it to him."
Yeah.
Man, I would not have imagined after giving my number out that I would be in Oklahoma and somebody
Yeah, on
campus
the visit.
going on a school visit within
He was one
like
of the first.
a month. Yeah, absolutely. Me and my man
He's
Cam.
probably the first that we did.
Is there any?
Protege.
Okay.
I mean, it's he's. For me, it was dealing with the frustration I had was like nobody tried to really had a connection to help me get in school, and it's all about networking. So I mean, it go from when Lee started to I had transfer kids to Georgetown, South Carolina.
That's why I said we came a long way from Best
Long
Buy.
way, man. And I don't even do that stuff much anymore, but for a while there, I was very.
Use the pool before the pool.
That's what everybody says. I had everyone. The only school in all these years, the only schools that probably I never got a call from in some way was probably Duke, Carolina, And I would say Duke Carolina, Ohio State, probably schools I never dealt with.
Yeah.
They do things a little differently.
Yeah.
But you know, I just had, even the last one, Isaiah Moore, he was a kid nobody wanted. You know, I made a phone call. He been a D2 All-American in Franklin Pierce. He just had an all-league year at South Alabama. Now he worked out for the Wizards. You know, 2 months ago.
Oh, really? He might make it?
He might do G League. He just won the Brunson title. You know,
Is it any footage out there where you was cooking? Okay.
He was there.
Okay, all right.
He was there.
leave the play, man.
He was there.
All right.
Yeah, he was there. You gotta stop this at actual footage.
That's how I realized when he was. We played a little store scrimmage and he had a good team. He cooked though. I didn't have much with me that game.
My man.
Yeah. Cook.
Last rapid
What
fire.
happened to the 30, the 40?
Right. Last rapid fire. Thank you. DC's greatest point guard, and I'm asking a point guard. Ooh.
Point guard. I'm always gonna say Kurt.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
always gonna say Kurt. I mean, not to say that like, you know, people might have a different perspective on that. When you look at like just the consistency of who you talk about, like who guys.
Oh, for sure.
It's Kurt. No matter who you talking to, you know, I think he's one of the best to ever do
We
it.
heard a little G Wiz a couple times.
I'll tell you a funny story, man. Just so Mikey Williams, the kid from California.
Yeah.
So you know he played. I had
Yeah,
we
the
brought him to
that's
Cali
right.
classes.
That's
You know,
right.
I work with them now, and his dad. I went to Charlotte to meet with his dad, and I was like, you know, there's a guy Kurt Smith that was MVP of the game. He said, I know who Kurt is. From San Diego.
Wow.
He said he was in school in San Diego, and somebody told him to come see this point guard at Compton Junior College. And it was Kurt. He said, Kurt, the best thing you ever seen do it out there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like I heard that from every level no matter where I go.
That's wow.
You know,
I mean, that's why you're able to get Grant Hill on the red carpet.
yeah,
You know?
Grant Hill and all those guys.
Yeah.
And then I won't take nothing away from Charlie Moe. I mean, Charlie Moe and Grant Hill played AU together.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Charlie Moe was a top 20 player in the country.
Yeah.
He played at George Mason, All-American. You know, Wake Forest.
Yeah.
He played. Think about it. In his college career, as a freshman and sophomore, his big men were Mutombo and Lonzo Moore. You go to Wake Forest and you play with Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Right.
Right.
And Rodney Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
he played with some of the best that ever played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, NBA Hall of Famers. And people just, what happened with Charlie was he stopped playing so early that people didn't, you know, he didn't have the longevity. But when you look at his body of work, high school and college, he started every game of his college career.
Yeah.
Freshman all
So
Yeah. And that's the beauty of what we are doing right now. I get a chance to do the research, do the history on guys that played in the city. You know, women that's played in the city. Because I'm not just keeping it to the guys. You know, I've had some ladies that's been all met, that won all 4 years of their high school career. Hall of Famers, you know what I'm talking about? And when you start doing the research and you start seeing that DC has always been a problem, I mean, it inspires you. I mean, but what you got going on?
I do a lot. You know, mainly right now. You know, my son's going to high school, so
Okay.
I'm locked in with him, making sure he train every day, get what he need. My oldest son. I know, right? You remember he was just following around behind me. I'm part owner of the Capital Classic now, and I'm the chief operating officer.
Part owner of the Capital Classic.
They brought me in, man. They asked me 6 years ago to do it, but I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Then they asked me this year, and this guy Tom Doe and Pete Deotis who put a lot of money in this thing.
And the Capital Classic is the best ballers from the city.
So and not just that. I mean, the owner of the Capital Classic started the McDonald's All-American game.
Absolutely.
You know, so the Capital Classic birthed that from DC. And so my goal was to just try to connect the past with the present, connect the older guys, and then just make it an experience for the kids. So it's a lot of work leading up, a lot of money. But one thing I'm trying to do with the game this year is I realized that it's hard to get butts and seats for basketball games now. It's hard because of YouTube and all that. I learned that kind of dealing with Mikey. So my goal is to find different ways to, bring the Capital Classic back. So one thing I want to do is we're not just going to try to attract the best players in the country to play the DC guys. This is going to be this roster next year for DC could be one of the best ones ever.
Okay.
DC got a lot of top talent in the country this year. I'm trying to bring in a legacy aspect. So I'm talking with Master P about his son coming.
Yeah.
Bill Bellamy's son's going to play. Dennis Scott's son is probably going to play. So to add that legacy aspect to the best players might make it more exciting. To have those guys courtside.
Yeah.
That's something I'm trying to work on just to get a little different.
Thinking out the box.
Then I have the Alumni Basketball League. I run the operations for Kareem Rush and a guy named Jake Jackson. So we did Georgetown, Maryland last year.
Yep.
We did Maryland, West Virginia this year. Georgetown, Syracuse.
Which is huge.
We're going to do next year. I'm working on potentially a Duke team.
Okay.
And we'll do a bigger event. And then we signed the TV deal to do some content. So we're looking to do that and then bring the podcast back.
Jeez.
Yeah. So then, and then I'm building a lot of relationships in the NBA now.
Right.
A lot of front office people, so I can see where that takes me.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Building blocks, though. It's the building blocks.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's what's up, man. Man, I think we thoroughly went through the history of Ricky Goins. He done gave us some jewels. He done dropped real jewels. So, Foote Tuesday.
Oh, I got one more
Oh.
question. I got one more question.
Okay.
As you say, looking at camera, who is somebody that you have bust and it's just something that you just gotta get off your chest? Like who off the top of your head, anybody that just
Lee.
I didn't gave Cuz 40,
You went at somebody?
50.
He ain't going nobody.
Oh man,
Oh,
I'm not
have
really.
you seen him shoot?
He ain't going nobody.
I'm not really excited to really do it like that, man. I had
You giving people 40 points in high school.
Ooh.
You traveling around dropping. It gotta have been somebody that just caught like the bulk of that. Like you got 30 on him, and then the rest.
I can't really say, man, cause like the way I had to score my points in high school was in the system. I ain't had no coaches just let me like.
Just go.
Now if I played in this era right now, it's been totally different. But like, I'm running off screens and all that, so I'm getting 25, 27, but it wasn't like pull up type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I score a lot of points. In all the leagues I played in, I always do well. I won't say I had nobody like I just like.
You just posted something today, man. What are you talking
Oh, you talking about Bill?
Yeah. You just posted something today.
that's for the people.
Okay.
Me and Bill had this thing, so we met through a mutual friend who was an executive at BET. He actually is a part owner of the National. So one morning, we used to play ball at his house. A guy named Paxton Baker. We used to play ball at his house every Sunday. So I hadn't gone for a while. I texted him playing. He said, "Yeah," he said, "Bill Bellamy's coming." I said, "Let me pull up." So me and Bill ended up on the same team. Then he realized Bill's son that played. So he's at Campbell Hall. Who LeBron's son was coming, and then he decided not to come.
Yeah.
So me and Bill just built a relationship from that, and whenever he's in town or out of town, he'll leave me tickets. If he coming in DC or Baltimore, he's set to bump up. We played Morgan State last year. We did Lower Facility this year. He loves basketball. People don't realize how old he is, man. He's almost 60.
I was about to ask that.
He's 58 years old, but he's in. Even after we finished playing pickup, he wanted to play half court. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
And he was out all night the night before. So I was like, man, because I was with him the night before. He was like, "We going to the club." I said, "I'm not." So I went. He went to the club. Came the next morning. He do his thing. He love basketball.
Yeah.
But we have a real good friendship though. We talk all the time.
Nice.
Him and I built a good relationship with Big U, the guy from out Compton. Los Angeles, a good friend of mine. We're working on some stuff together too. So
That's all right. So we can definitely expect to see some big things from the city, from Ricky Goins. That's what's up, man. Hey.
yeah, man.
Foote
Appreciate you
Tuesday.
guys.
Hey.